Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Bagus Ananda Nosa Putraditya with student number 23 1509 1041 from EK class. So on this occasion I will be explaining what I did in the midterm project for framework web programming. The study case is video playlist with the already provided API, and we use React.js for the front end, and our group also decided to use Tailwind CSS for the styling and Lucid React for the icon. So let's just get into it. So what I did in this midterm project, first of all, is creating the playlist card. So it is a component of a playlist card that can be reused again if needed. So this playlist card is basically the main thing. That the playlist card over here is it's a playlist card component. Okay, so let's just get. So I won't be explaining this deeply, like in detail. I will be explaining like the general structure of the code, because if I just explain in detail, it would take too long. It would take hours because this code is very long. So I'm just going to explain the basic structure of the code. So first of all, from the playlist card, like I said before, our group decided to use Lucid React. So let me just show you briefly. So what is Lucid React? So Lucid is basically similar to the icon and that sort of stuff. So this is basically a consistent and beautiful icon that we can use in our project. And this is available for React.js also. So that's why we use Lucid React. So view all icons to see all the available icons. And yeah, these icons, it fits the aesthetic that we are thriving for the project, which is minimalist and elegant design. So we use Lucid React for all of our icons. And so we also, I also added a state on the playlist card where we can show the menu and do not show the menu. So only one state, show menu, set the default state as false. So we don't want to show the menu at all times. So when we click the menu, that's when the menu is appeared, and then when we click away, the menu disappeared. So set the default value to false, and then straight away just return the display of the playlist card. So the first thing is like this the square. So I use a div to contain all of the contents in it. And let me just show you my favorite feature of this card. So this hover shadow. So Tailwind CSS is very powerful, and this is why I love Tailwind CSS. So I just started learning Tailwind CSS from YouTube and AI just briefly, and then I noticed this feature which is called a hover shadow feature. So when we hover over anything like a button, like for this instance, a playlist card, it shows like a shadow like a neon, sort of like a backlight sort of stuff. It's really cool. I think it's my favorite thing from this component and Tailwind CSS basically. So I use a pink color over here from using an RGBA value, hover shadow. So all of this class name is the Tailwind CSS for the container of the playlist card. So look at that, it's so cool. So it's actually in like other buttons as well, so it's pretty cool. Okay, so that's the container. And then next one, the content of the container itself. So what is in the playlist card itself. So let me just check I'm recording. Okay, good. Okay, so what is in this container of playlist card? So first of all, I put a thumbnail, use an image. So all this thumbnail over here using an image. The source is from the API play thumbnail. So play thumbnail. So we input URL for the thumbnail, the YouTube thumbnail, when we create a playlist. So we get that data and then show that thumbnail over here. And then basically, if there's just a error catching function. So if there's an error, do not show any image. So yeah, this is for catching an error. So but basically this is for showing the thumbnail. And then for the URL, so when we click on this playlist, the where are we redirected is the URL. So over here, the reference is the play URL API. So when we input it, a create playlist, we have to input the YouTube URL. So that's the reference or the source of URL, and then using the play icon, which we imported from Lucid React. So this play icon over here. So it's consistent, it's minimal, it's good. So that's for the URL, for the anchor URL, and then for this one is for the menu, so more menu. So we can do an edit or delete, but that's not my part. That's my colleague's part. So I just made this menu over here. So basically, when you not hover over the playlist card, the menu doesn't appear. But when you hover over it, the menu appears. You click on it, you can edit or delete the playlist. And so that is this part over here. So the button, it's a button over here, as you can see, using a more vertical. So this is again another Lucid SVG icon that we imported. So when we click on it, set the state to not show menu. So basically, when I click on the menu icon, show the menu. As you can see, as I mentioned before, the default state is false for show menu, and then when we click, just set it to not show menu, so it is true. So yeah, click, show, click again, disappear. Simple. And then for the menu itself, so inside the menu over here, what is displayed, there are two elements being displayed, which is edit and delete element. So over here with the div, so when we contain this button over here, and then inside it we have the button itself with edit and delete button. So for the edit button, so when we on click, you edit the playlist and then set the show menu to false. So we put away the menu and then show the edit playlist card. So let me just show you briefly. So when we click on this edit playlist card will be shown. And I didn't make this, so my colleague made this part, so I just created this menu over here. And the same thing also goes for the delete. So when we click, it will this delete playlist card will appear, and then the show menu on the background will disappear. As you can see over here, it is blurred and it is not visible anymore. So when you click, disappear. Okay, so that's what I made for the playlist card. So edit and delete button. And then the next one for the genre over here, as you might recognize. So each of this playlist card includes a genre. So what genre is this playlist? And yeah, this is we get the data from the play genre API. So when we input the playlist, when we create a new playlist, we have to set the genre. So that's where I get the data. So from play genre, it is show over here. Okay. Now for the heading 3, this is actually the title of the playlist. So for example, I take the name or the title of the playlist. So again, when we create a playlist, we input a title, and then the title will be displayed on here on the playlist card. And then for the description, this is the description of the playlist. So for example, car goes vroom vroom. So this is the description. So we get that from the API. And I also forgot to mention, as you might notice, when I hover over this, there's like this gray box over here. So what this does is basically expands the title and the description when it is too long on the playlist card. So for this example, it is not a long title or a description, so it is not visible. But when we have a long title and description like this, so when you have like a cut, when the title is cut into dot of like this and the description also, so when you hover over it, it will be expanded so you can see the full title and also the full description like that. So it's very long description. So I wonder what the description is. So I just hover over it. There we go. And also the playlist card container, the box, is dynamically changing based on the length of the title and description. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I added that also. So yep. And then what else? Oh yeah, the last part is the watch button over here. So you can click from on the playlist either from the thumbnail, the play thumbnail, or the watch button over here. So again, we take this from Lucid React. Okay. So oh yeah, when we click on the playlist URL from the playlist card, it will redirect us to the YouTube link. So let me just show you. So there are two ways to access the link, either from clicking the thumbnail and the play button on the thumbnail, or clicking the watch button over here. So let's first on the thumbnail over here. There we go. We are redirected to the YouTube link directly.
But
and
thankfully,
yeah, this is the YouTube link.
big steps, but
then let's try for the watch button over here. If you click, also it will be redirected to a new page on the YouTube link.
To WEC,
and so yeah, this is race. Oh no, the Toyota.
So the
okay, so that's the playlist card element. Now let's move on to the header element. So this header over here is the header, the header element. Okay. So again, I imported some of the icon from Lucid React, and then I have state over here for search visible, and this is for the search bar. So when we click on the search bar, it will expand, and then when we click on the X icon, it will close. It will collapse the search bar. Okay. So let's just get on with it. So yeah, handle search close when we close the search bar. Set the search visible state to false so we don't display the search bar, and then set the search query to blank, basically. Okay, so let me just have a drink real quick. Okay, let's continue. So I return directly the search bar over here, all the header element. So for the first one, I put a header tag over here to contain all of the contents of the header. And yeah, so I use a Tailwind CSS, all that good stuff. Again, a Tailwind, and then I divided this into multiple content. The first one is the logo. So it is a very simple logo, like a play button, like a YouTube kind of stuff. So yeah, I honestly use an AI for this logo. I just like brainstorm it and give me a logo that looks cool, I guess, for this kind of thing, and then yeah, they just show me this logo. I just use it. So yeah, I'm just being honest with the logo over here. Okay, so we're using the play, but I also just tinker it with it a little bit to make it good, and then yeah, I use a Lucid React icon over here, and then the title, playlist hub, no big deal, with all the CSS styling over here. And also the group. So this is interesting. So it shows what API or what playlist or where does this playlist belong to. So my group is group 33, so this is my own group. So we can actually change the group ID over here to make to display all of the playlists from another group. But I won't do that here because that's not my part. So it just shows us which group we are accessing right now. So it's a helpful thing over here to have. Okay, so that's for the left side. So simple logo and group display over here. And then the right side controls. So this is where all the good stuff happens in this website. So for the create playlist and the search playlist icon. So for the first one, for the search, when the search is visible, so this is using the state that I mentioned earlier. So when the search is visible, we like input a text to search a certain playlist. And so for the input over here, I use a type for text and a placeholder search playlist. And for the value, I use the search query value. So when we input a query or a search, basically when we search for a keyword, it will match the keyword to existing playlist. So yeah, so on change. So yeah, this is when we when we search the playlist. I'm running out of words. Okay, so that's when the search is visible. So when we click on this and the search playlist is visible, that's when we can search for the playlist. And then for the button over here, when the search playlist is displayed, so basically we change from the magnifying glass icon to the X icon to close or to collapse the search playlist, basically. And again, I use this hover shadow. I reuse it in a lot of the elements. It's just look cool. Look at it, okay? And then for the other state, when the search is collapsed, the search menu is collapsed. So basically, it shows a magnifying glass over here. So when it is clicked, set the search visible to true. So this search bar will be visible. And then again, I use the hover shadow Tailwind CSS, which looks pretty cool. Okay, so let me just show you how it works. So search playlist. For example, you want to search Lamong, and then it shows over here. And if I search something that is non-existent, basically like that, no playlist found, so it is working. Okay, that's for the search. And then for create playlist CTA, so this glowing purple pinkish good stuff button when you want to create the playlist, that's the CTA. So I just use a button on click, show the create card. So when we click this, it will show the create playlist card. So set that to true. And then yeah, all this CSS stuff, the Tailwind CSS, and also the hover shadow as usual, like that. Okay, use the icon plus and then use the create playlist text. So that's for the header, all these headers. So there's a left side and the right side header to make it easier. So the left side is basically like the logo and the informational for which group we are in right now. And then for the right side is for the CTA and the search icon over here. Okay, so we can search like that. Good. So now let's move on to the home page. So all of this page, all the components that we made, will be compiled into this one home page. Okay, so I imported the playlist card components that I mentioned earlier. So this playlist card I import into this home page. Okay, and also Lucid React. Whew, I'm running out of breath. Okay, so I set a few state over here for the genre. So for it's just according to the midterm project requirement. So there are different genres: music, movie, education, and others. And also all genres. So I set an all genre when we want to display all of the available playlists. Okay. Oh yeah, this is the default state. So the default, it will be set to all. Okay. And then this is the function for filtering playlist based on search and genre. So when we search a playlist, we want to convert all of the keywords into lowercase first, right? So it keeps a consistent querying. So when we have like a uppercase, lowercase, character, all that stuff, so we have to put that into lowercase first to make it consistent, to make it easier to search for that particular item. And so yeah, that's what I basically did over here on the filter playlist based on search and genre. So the genre, when we click on the certain genre, that genre will be selected, and then that the playlist that are related to that genre will be displayed. Okay, so this is the logic. This is simple logic for the home. A lot of the logic, the main logic, will be displayed on app.gsx, which I will explain later. So now let's talk about the UI, the display of the homepage. And so this is the main content, so I just contain it in this one main content over here. And the hero section, so this is the main section over here, basically. This one, like the title. So yeah, I just put a text, a heading 1, your entertainment hub. So the entertainment, I put like a gradient to make it interesting a bit. Okay, again using Tailwind CSS, no big deal. And then the paragraph over here, this explaining what this website is about, no big deal for this one. Now for the active search indicator. So when we search previously, there's actually like a active search indicator showing what we are searching. So for example, Lamong. So this part over here is the active search indicator. And so yeah, it shows that. And searching for what? So inputted the search query over here, so it matches this query over here. Oh no, it's just fun stuff. Okay, so active search indicator, and then genre filter, so filtering all the genre over here, filter by genre. So the default state is set to all, but when we want to filter, we can do that also. So we want to music, all of these are music, movie, education, education, and others. So yeah, that's the genre filters. Okay, I'm just checking if I'm recording. Okay, I'm recording. Let's continue. So for the genre buttons, again, I use the hover shadow. It's just so good. Hover shadow element for the all, and for all this button basically. And for each of these genre, so I map the genre that I mentioned, define earlier, and then map it into this button right here. So the key is the genre, and then on click, set the genre into that particular genre, if that makes sense. And then yes, it's for the styling, of course, and that's it for the genre. Over here, pretty cool. And then for what else? Oh yeah, this little guy over here. So it shows how many items are displayed in the playlist. So it's just informational thing to show us how many playlists are exist in this list. So yeah, where is it? Oh yeah, so the filtered playlist on the function I mentioned earlier, I check the length and it'll display it over here. So how many filter playlists is displayed? So if I change to music, to movie, it will display a different number each time. So depending on how many how many playlists is displayed on the home page. Okay. Whew. Okay. Let's continue. Oh god. Okay, so this is the loading state. So basically when we refresh the page, so it'll show a little loading icon. So let me just do that icon, the loading page. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, so let's just show that the site is loading, basically. That's loading state. This is an error message if the for whatever reason the playlist doesn't display, so get an error message. And then for the grid, I set for large screen 3 columns, and then for different screen, where is it? Okay, so for different screen, maybe a medium screen 2, maybe. So this is just for example. So yeah, this is for the grid. how many playlist card is being displayed horizontally per se. Ooh, okay. So last one on the home page is empty state if no playlist match search or filter. So basically, when this page doesn't have any playlist, what will it show? So I just put like a let me just show you. Let me show you. So for example, I deleted this playlist, so it'll be empty. So all this delete part will be explained by my colleagues in other video. I didn't make that, so yeah. I mainly focus on the UI stuff, which is fun. It's very fun. Okay, so this what I meant by the empty state if no playlist or filter are available. So no playlist found. Try adjusting blah blah blah. So it'll show the users that they have no playlist on this particular filter or on all filter. So basically, if there's no playlist, this will show up. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. So on each of these, I exported default as the name, the same as the function name, so it is easier to import to other JSX file. So the last one, oh, it's almost 30 minutes. Okay. The last one, I created on the crude part. I created the read part, so displaying the playlist on the home page. So let me just explain it briefly. So there are all of the application logic are stored in the app.jsx, which will be explained by my colleagues later on. I'm just going to explain about how to read the data on the web. So I put a variable. Actually, my friend put this variable. Thank you. So he used a variable API base URL and the group ID. So it is a whole lot easier if we want to change the group ID or the base URL basically. So the base URL is like provided on the midterm requirements, and the group ID is our group ID 33. And then the get playlist function. So this is the read function of our website. So that show or display all of the playlists. Oh my god. So first we set the loading to true. So when, like I showed before, so when we refresh the page, it'll show like loading playlist loading bar like that. And then inside it we get the data from the API. So fetch the data from the API base URL, this URL, and then for the API playlist and for the group ID basically. And then we try to fetch that and then wait for a response, and then if there's a response, set the playlist. So display all the playlists all at once, the datas. But if there's no response, I put a catch what's it called? Yeah, a catch error message, failed to fetch playlist. So basically it tells the user if for whatever reason the data fetching fails. And then after that, set the loading to false, and it'll display all of the playlists all at once in this home page. Whew, so that's basically it. So that's what I did in this midterm project. So actually, yeah, I did a lot on the home page, the UI. Basically, it's because it's fun. UI is fun, and especially when I discovered this hover shadow with tailwind, it's a game changer. Look at this. It's wow. Okay. So obviously my colleagues also helps on some parts of the UI. I didn't do this all this all by myself. I just want to make a little disclaimer here. So I created the structure of the UI. So all of this, like the general structure, and then my colleague did some of the elements, like small elements. They tweak it, they make it different or something. So I didn't work for this by myself, so I also needed feedback from my colleagues. So I just want to make that clear. And yeah, I think generally we share a lot of work together. We didn't do just like one thing by ourselves. Like when I have a problem with some of the UI, I ask my colleagues for feedback, and so yeah, I think our workload is equal. I'm confident that our workload is equal because yeah, we did our part, and then when our consecutive part has a bug or something, we ask for feedback and then we fix it together. So good. So I just want to make that clear. Okay. So what I want to say basically is we share the same workload. So we work as a team. That's what they say. Teamwork makes the dream work. So yeah. So that's it for my part generally. And oh yeah, I've been talking for 30 minutes now. So yeah, let's just end the video. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Mr. Teguh, for watching. And yeah, that's my part for this midterm project. Thank you.